And Nigerians have yet another opportunity to exercise their franchise as INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu announces that all is set for tomorrow's election. Professor Yakubu says polling opens tomorrow 8 a.m. in the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. Our correspondent Linda Akigbe reports.
This is the last time electoral body INEC will brief the press before Nigerians go to the polls. INEC has been severely criticized for postponing the presidential and National Assembly elections, which were supposed to hold on February 16, but was shifted to February 23rd. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu has repeatedly attempted to convince Nigerians in the last 5 days that it has resolved the logistical problems it said were responsible for the postponement of the elections.
Tomorrow is election day. A total of 72,775,502 citizens who have collected their permanent voters' cards are eligible to cast their ballots.
But there are still concerns as regards the sufficiency and reliability of smart card readers, shortfalls of result sheets, and underage voters.
And a voter will only be allowed to vote if his or her name is on the register of voters and after the verification of the PVC and authentication of his or her biometrics by the smart card reader. No genuine PVC, no voting.
The Inspector General of Police is attending this news conference, and he explains the strategies employed by the police to secure Nigerians during the polls.
The security of the electorate, the observers, the INEC staff, the electoral materials are all secured.
This time last Friday, February 15, Nigerians were getting ready for the polls, but were disappointed after INEC postponed the elections because of logistical issues. Nigerians will go to the polls on Saturday, February 23rd, hoping that INEC has indeed addressed these logistical challenges to guarantee transparent elections. Linda Akibe, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, INEC has acted on the appeal court order asking it to include candidates of the All Progressives Congress on the ballot in Zamfara state, and that's for the APC. The Court of Appeal had ordered the inclusion of the APC to the list of political parties contesting all political positions in the state. INEC says in a statement that it would disregard the conflicting court orders and adhere strictly to that of the state's High Court, which has been validated by the Appellate Court. The Commission promises that it would continue to obey court orders and judgments at all times. Still on the elections, the head of the ECOWAS Election Observer Mission for the 2019 elections, Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf, today expressed optimism that INEC has significantly addressed the electoral constraints which led to the postponement of the elections. Mrs. Johnson-Sirleaf told newsmen in Abuja that she is impressed with the level of patience exercised by Nigerians following the rescheduling of the polls.
Tomorrow, you will have the privilege to vote for the leaders of your choice, and in doing so, consolidate the country's young democracy. The process has not been easy, but nothing worth fighting for is. The people of Africa stand in solidarity with you. We extend thanks, admiration, and gratitude to the Nigerian people for their patience in the face of the last-minute interruptions to their lives with the postponement of the 2019 general elections. We have watched the progress of INEC over the past week, working together with domestic and international partners in addressing the logistical and technical challenges. We are pleased that these operational constraints have been significantly addressed, thus creating a conducive atmosphere for tomorrow's general elections.
Another group of election observers do not seem to be as optimistic as the ECOWAS group, and they have expressed fear about voters' apathy in Saturday's presidential and National Assembly elections. The Coalition of Elections Observer Groups explained that the initial postponement by INEC may influence voter turnout.
Independent National Electoral Commission.
The postponement of the presidential and National Assembly elections last week came as a big disappointment for many people who had already made up their minds to vote in candidates of their choice.
The chairman of electoral commissions.
There are fears that voter apathy may result from the postponement. This is the reason why some political parties, as well as the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, have had to increase their sensitization in the last 1 week. With less than 24 hours to the rescheduled elections, groups of accredited election observers in Abuja are appealing to citizens to demonstrate their patriotism by turning out en masse to vote on Saturday.
The security operatives, they have promised that things will go well. We're asking Nigerians to come out and exercise their rights, their voting rights, to choose who they want to, whoever they want to choose as their leader, and who will eventually be in office in the next 4 years.
The Situation Room encourages Nigerians to defy the challenges and difficulties occasioned by the postponement of elections and come out en masse to vote freely for candidates of their choice, and to prepare to protect their votes and ensure that their votes count and are counted.
Some observer groups are, however, concerned about the spate of violence reported in some states since the polls were postponed last week.
The spate of violence witnessed since the election was scheduled from 16th of February 2019 further validates earlier findings of our election security threat assessment. We particularly call on security actors to refrain from unwarranted use of force and should promptly address any incident that is likely to cause electoral violence before, during, and after the elections.
Since 1999, when Nigeria returned to democracy, the number of voters have been on a decline when compared with the total number of registered voters. In that year, only 52% of registered voters turned out to vote. In 2003, it was 69%. In 2007, 57%. In 2011, 54%. While in 2015, the turnout fell to 42%. Many political actors believe that the postponement by 1 week could further worsen the turnout of voters.
It's the eve of the presidential and National Assembly election, and the president had some encouraging words for Nigerians. In a national broadcast, President Muhammadu Buhari called on all Nigerians who are of eligible age to show patriotism by coming out tomorrow to vote. The president also asked Nigerians to do so without fear or intimidation. He also assured the international and domestic monitors and observers of their safety and freedom of movement.
As you are present, I hereby ask all Nigerians with voting cards to participate in defining the future of our nation by exercising your democratic right tomorrow. I urge you to go out and vote. Do not be afraid of rumors of violence and unrest. Our security agencies have worked diligently to ensure that adequate security measures are in place. You will be able to vote in an atmosphere of openness and peace, devoid of fear from threat or intimidation. International and domestic monitors and observers are assured of their safety and freedom of movement needed to perform their important functions. As we thank domestic monitors and observers for their contributions to our democracy, we also thank the international groups for the friendship and concern they have demonstrated to our nation.
Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari. Eligible voters across Nigeria have been commenting on the forthcoming general elections, but more interesting are the comments from first-time voters. We caught up with a few in Jos, Nasarawa and Lagos states. Our correspondent Loretta Chiogo reports that INEC says newly registered voters across the country are about 16.3 million.
21-year-old Rebecca Godwin lives in Jos, Plateau State. She's a first-time voter and elated that she will be among the deciders of the fate of the next president and National Assembly members at the polls. She has a permanent voter card, but recounts the journey to becoming an eligible voter.
In the previous time when I did the voters card, and they said that we should come back the next day and collect it, so I was not around. So I went there. They was not there. They said that they are in Secretariat Joshua in Sudan, so I went there to collect it.
It counts down to the rescheduled presidential and National Assembly elections, and first-time voters feel the excitement to be part of the process. But that excitement is wrapped in fear of uncertainty. 20-year-old Sophia Samuel is a data volunteer of a non-governmental organization in Nasarawa State. Like Rebecca in Jos, she will be casting a ballot for the first time.
This is my first time of voting. Actually, I'm happy that I'm going to vote because as a citizen of a country, we are all mandated to have a right to vote. We should have a free and fair election in the state, and it should be peaceful, and we should come out with a good leader who will rule us very well.
The newspaper stand here in Ojota, Lagos, is a popular place of congregation for free readers. We catch up with Emmanuel Awolowo, a first-time voter. He speaks to me. So are you enthusiastic about this election tomorrow?
Yeah, I am. It's a kind of competitive. How do I mean? It's in between the strong party and the strong two men in this nation, and they're from the same tribe. Then automatically I'm expecting two of them to challenge each other. Then it's in our hands going out there and vote for the kind of candidates that we believe he can do well for us.
Many, like Emmanuel, will be looking to see the voting process in Nigeria. Some of them have expressed their fears and some have expressed their enthusiasm concerning the elections on Saturday. From Ojota, Lagos, Loretta Chiogo, Channels Television News.